Hi, I'm Jared Reister, and for those who don't know me, I'm the Museum Safety Officer. I'm also one of the AML T-28 pilots. A little about my background: I'm a retired Air Force pilot, flight safety officer, and trained mishap investigator. I currently fly for Atlas Air. Today I'm going to talk to you about inadvertent IMC entry, and since all great safety briefs start with a video, here you go.
Page at your southbound. 40 Hotel, New York. 40 Hotel, roger, sir. Just lost a little bit more controls here. Okay, 40 Hotel, turn left to left turning 060. Turn left to 060, 40 Hotel, would you like the lower altitude? Bonanza 70 Hotel, how can I be of assistance? Yes, sir, we're working on it. We just lost more of our panel, that's all. 40 Hotel, we're turning to 060, and we're trying to get back to 7,000. It's okay, just if you need a block altitude, just keep me in mind, I'll protect for you. 40 Hotel, thank you.
Over the next 2 minutes, radar shows the aircraft turning more than 90 degrees off course before correcting. The controller volunteers conditions at nearby Republic Airport.
And 70 Hotel, the Republic observation is 1853. The wind is 0407, visibility is 3 miles broken, and 700 overcast. So you're trying to land at Republic.
By this time, though, the aircraft has entered a steep spiral, descending over 4,000 feet in 20 seconds.
And November 40 Hotel, radar contact lost. November 40 Hotel, launch alert, 90 miles north-northwest of Republic, MPO is 1,600. November 440 Hotel, New York approach.
There is no reply. On the ground, witnesses describe hearing a loud bang and seeing an airplane emerge from the clouds in several pieces. Investigators find debris scattered along a path nearly a half-mile long.
So how does this apply? Well, this guy was an experienced instrument pilot. He entered IMC unexpectedly, and he had a partial panel. Inadvertent IMC entry is the biggest killer in general aviation. Now, in most cases, they're inexperienced pilots with capable equipment that enter IMC without planning for it. In our case, it's kind of the other way around. We're all very experienced pilots, experienced instrument pilots, but the equipment we have is not exactly what we're used to having. One of our biggest threats is complacency. We're used to having good equipment. We're used to instrument conditions, but just not quite the situation that we're used to. Add to that pressures to make the mission happen, and there are very valid reasons why we want to try to carry the mission forward as much as possible. If we don't get to the air shows, get to the fly-ins, then the museum is not going to serve its function. But what would the impact be if we lost a crew and an aircraft? Add to the threat of entering IMC without good equipment, the temptation to try to avoid it by scud running, going below the weather. Now you got terrain as another threat. Remember that the ground has a 100% probability of kill if you run into it. So your best bet may be to go and enter the IMC by sitting the ground. But if at all possible, avoid the situation. So C-45 is actually a pretty capable instrument platform, but the instrumentation it has is a little different than what all of us are used to in the airlines that we fly. Think about what you have at your disposal. Think about the last time that you've flown in IMC conditions, purely on steam gauges, and don't forget you're going to have to hand fly it as well. So a lot of different factors, and the key here is just to think ahead, think about what you've got and what the situation is, and what you're going to do in advance at ground speed 0. Even more important in the T-28s, neither the A or the B model have a really functional ADI, very little navigation instrumentation, basically just the whiskey compass, and that's it. So again, think about what you have. We would definitely be either T28s, if we're forced to enter IMC, is going to be pretty much a partial panel situation. So some important things to think about are precise airspeed control, altitude, heading control, and what do you have at your disposal to get you out of that situation as quickly and safely as possible. Think about use of ATC, the whiskey compass for heading, and then also what does that tell you about attitude? Get away from the ground if at all possible. Bottom line, maintain control of the aircraft, and then think about what you can bring with you in the future. Systems like your iPad with ForeFlight, with synthetic vision and things like that. If you have that capability that you can bring with you, think about or consider at least bringing it along and having it on hand in case you do enter that situation. Bottom line, again, very, very serious situation in the T-28s. We also have the threat that formation flight brings to the situation. Most of our missions involve some sort of formation. So how are we going to avoid colliding with each other, again, colliding with the ground, maintaining aircraft control, communicating? Again, this is a situation where maybe a discussion at ground speed 0 could aid maintaining safety in the air. I can only speak for the Air Force procedures, but the Air Force has very specific, detailed procedures on what to do if you lose visual contact with your wingman in formation, even in VMC and IMC, of course, as well. And this is something that we may want to start bringing into our briefings. Of course, I can't fly your aircraft for you, and again, we're all very experienced professionals, so you have to make your own decision, use your best judgment, but it's something that I would recommend bringing into the discussion. The key here is communications, because once you lose visual contact, that's really all you have to stay safe, unless you establish procedures. Between communications and established procedures, you should be able to maintain safe clearance from each other and then get about the business of safely controlling your aircraft and exiting the instrument conditions. So, like I said, I can't tell you what to do, how to fly your aircraft when you're up there. And we have to, and with respect to your experience, of course, you know best how to handle your situation while you're in it. But these are some suggestions, some thoughts and recommendations that I can present to you for your consideration. Hopefully, thinking about it now, if you do enter it, will help you get out of it in a safe way. That's obviously the best thing you can do is avoid IMC if at all possible. Have an escape plan in advance, where you're going to go en route, where you're going to turn, how you're going to turn to get away from IMC if you're presented with it unexpectedly. And of course, this goes to good pre-flight planning. As previously mentioned, a good discussion about the formation, if you lose sight of the flight leader wingman, if one or both of you enters instrument conditions, how you're going to handle the situation, procedures and communications, review it and have it clear in your head. And then, of course, if you're a single ship or after you've established clearance from the rest of the flight, maintain control, stay away from the ground, and exit as soon as possible. I appreciate your time and attention. I'm sorry this had to be via video. I would have liked to have done it in person, but I'm currently on a trip and won't be back in time to give it to you in person. Good luck, stay safe, and I hope to see you out there.